Welcome to the Didi and Lital Show. Advice, thoughts, and stories from a married couple on cybersecurity, technology, and life in general. Now here are your hosts, Didi and Lital.
Hello and welcome to the Didi and Lital Show. Another summer week. What's up, Didi?
All is well. As you, Producer Dave, do you recognize the shirt I'm wearing?
What are you wearing?
Well, I'm familiar with the band, the Pixies.
Yes.
They're always a little too alternative out there for me, but strong band.
Yes.
Storied band.
Yes. I went to their double head-to-head, back-to-back concerts.
Is that right?
It was
Where did they play?
MGM and Fenway.
Oh, okay. Is that a good place to see a show? I've never seen a show there.
It's a new place.
It looks great.
The sound is very, very, very good. It's like...
Is it all indoor?
It's all indoors.
Okay.
And I took on-the-floor seating.
Nice.
And it wasn't seating, it was standing up. So I like watching a concert
Those are the
up.
best ways to see a show. The House of Blues does that as well.
Yeah.
It's tremendous. Yeah.
Neighboring to that.
I made Lital go watch the
Dropkick Murphy on St. Patrick's Day, like a few years back.
Love the drop kicks. Come on.
Yeah,
Yes.
the only thing I didn't have the stamina to
Lital
stay for. They had a pre-show and pre-show, and that was so hard.
They're an Irish band. You have to. You have to throw down some beers. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. By the time they started the show, I was already so tired. I'm not good in live concerts. I'm tired.
I love that.
I'm a grandma.
The first one was kind of a lot of their old stuff, and the second one was more of the Doolittle album that more people know, and some of the real recent stuff that they did after Kim left, which kind of sucks. So they mixed the good and the bad.
So I've never heard of that. They announced it that way, that the two shows would be completely distinct?
Yes.
That's cool.
It's following the Metallica one. Metallica did
They did too?
They did that too.
So in every place they show up, they do 2 nights in a row?
They do 2
and
nights.
And people actually come to both?
Yes. Well, not everybody.
But
so
like
we went to the first one, and Chorev wanted the best, the golden oldies. So we went
to the second one.
To the second one too.
Okay.
I didn't mind that because it wasn't that expensive. It was easy to get to. And by the way, on the train ride back, I discovered that this generation is going to go extinct. There was a young dude, maybe like a couple of years older than our son, being a counselor in camp, trying to hit on a girl that came from one of the shows. There was also a couple of country concerts in Fenway at the same time. It's always funny to see the outside 495 pretend to be country Massachusettsites. They're just ridiculous. Guys, we're in Massachusetts. You're not country. You have like no idea how country is.
When they do Country Fest at Gillette Stadium, it's packed.
It is.
And you're right. They all have cowboy hats. They've never seen a cow, probably.
Yes, except for the Meat Island Costco. So
they've seen Taylor Swift.
They have seen Taylor Swift. So
and she's a New Englander. She has a Rhode Island mention.
Yes. So this was really fun, and this guy was working hard. He was like talking and talking and talking and talking. By the way, I've never spent this much time trying to impress a girl by talking, because you know that after a certain point. By the way, if you are under 30 and you're listening to our podcast, first, I feel bad for you. Second, here's how you pick up a girl. First, you let her talk. The more she talks, the happier she is. You need to talk less, let her talk more. And you ask her questions and answer, this is very impressive. Oh, I would never be able to do this. Oh, this is so challenging. I'm so impressed. This is so hard. I would never be able to deal with this way.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you do. You listen.
So this dude didn't do that.
He talk. And she was still okay with that, but you need to know how to close the deal.
Meaning you take her cell phone number.
You take her cell phone number. But even more, you create proximity. One of the first things...
this generation doesn't create proximity.
You have to create
for those listening, put a hand on her hand.
You have to create proximity. You need to see if she pushes back or not. You need to create proximity.
This generation will say it's cringe, it's Me Too, it's harassment, you don't touch.
I have 3 kids. Clearly, I knew what I'm doing.
Yeah, you are pre-Me Too generation.
Whatever. Anyways, these guys don't know how to close the deal. I did close the deal. We were married for 20 years. We had a previous podcast.
We have a podcast about it. Yeah, going back to the friend that went with you to the Pixies show, Chorev. Chorev is a Dreamliner captain with El Al, Israeli Airlines. And he texted Didi the other day saying, I'm coming to Boston. Let's meet. And Didi already told him, come over for barbecue, and then there is a show, blah, blah, blah. And Didi is texting me, by the way, Chorev will be here Friday. And I was like, what do you mean Chorev is going to be here on Friday? Does it mean that he's on the El Al flight on Thursday night going back to Boston? So Didi was like, I assume. So I was like, so he's my captain. I'm coming back from Tel Aviv. Yay.
Oh, captain, my captain.
Chorev is the husband of a good friend of mine, Michal. Both of us worked for years together at Procter & Gamble. She now works in the Thank You for Smoking conglomerate. She works for Philip Morris. It's a big joke in our family because we love Thank You for Smoking. That's a different thing. But do you remember a few episodes ago, I told you about people getting in the cockpit and all those kind of things, that how easy it is. We talked about security theater. So actually, I got first-hand look into how it goes in a company, an airline company that...
Commercial
airline company that actually cares about security. So Chorev knew that I'm on this flight, and the minute we took off, one of the ladies, flight attendant, came over and said, are you Lital? I was like, yes. So she was like, we're processing your information. Captain said that after we take off and you'll have some hours to sleep, he would love to have you join us at the cockpit. But for you to know, we're going through some security measurements. Apparently, they run you in the system and they check who you are before you're even gonna get in. So I guess I got cleared, and at a certain point in the flight, I came in the cockpit. Really, they have the whole system of how it's secured and stuff. We're not gonna tell about it, but that was awesome. First time I was in a cockpit, I spent almost 2 hours with them. It was so much fun. We talked. Of course, it's all autopilot. And then I went back to my place, and they called me back to come see us landing. And oh my God, people, this is where, those things that we don't know are probably a good thing. Mm-hmm. So you may have heard in the news for a while about, traffic control in the US and how tough it is, and, how they're almost every day an almost hit thing. So apparently it is real. When you sit in the cockpit, you actually see the damn thing. So you're landing in Logan. Yeah, we landed at on Friday, 10 a.m. in the morning. Beautiful. I cannot think of anything more beautiful than a blue sky day in Logan in the summer. It's like, all the little ships around the coastline. It's just marvelous. And you start seeing the airport, and we kind of like getting in, and Chorev is the captain. He sits there. He's an amazing captain, and he has a newer, I think it's like student, like he's practicing, and they're landing us. And Chorev is completely chill, and the young guy is looking, and he's like, there is this plane just hanging there, and he's supposed to take off. And you start seeing we are kind of getting into a landing point. And he's like, is this guy gonna take off? Are they gonna take off? And then you start hearing the plane, 100 feet, 90 feet. And he's like, is this dude moving? Like, we're gonna, we're just gliding down to the track. And like last minute, the guy starts running and take off, and we are like landing. And you know, the other, Jorge was completely chill, like this happens every day. He didn't even say it. But the new guy was like, oh my God, this place have it close. Like,
so you would have hit him if he didn't take off?
I think we wouldn't. I think it's all kind of like
orchestrated.
It's orchestrated, but what they say, it's orchestrated to the second. Like, it was obvious that he will take off at the time, but you know, what if not? There was no buffer. That's what I want to say. And for the younger guy, like, you see that the more experienced captain is used to it. Apparently that is the drill. Like, it is less than 20 seconds. Like, the guy took off when we were at 40 feet. Like, seriously. So he was chill as if it's a daily routine. Apparently that's the daily routine. But I guess when they say there is always kind of an almost hit, it because it is so congested. And that's the thing. Like, there is 20 seconds between one taking off and one landing. There is no and apparently for the young pilot, it was a little bit of, he was like, oh my God, they don't space it here. That's what he said. Oh my God, they don't space it here. So, you know, maybe it's better to sit at the back and, you know, not be aware of all this. Somebody's driving us, and it's kind of like, I don't want the Fight Club thing of, you know, being aware of,
Yes.
I like, so it was beautiful. I could also feel how tense it was for the younger pilot. I have to say, it wasn't tense at all for the experienced captain. He just flew, and we just landed, and he was smiling, and it was completely normal. So I guess that's normal. So not to scare anyone, but that's, I guess, at least the Boston Logan reality in the morning.
So this is something that people, remember we were talking about the fact that one of the things that kills life expectancy is flying non-commercial. Flying not commercial is a good way to kill like 5 years out of your life expectancy.
Because of the experience of the pilot?
It's not just the experience of the pilot. It's the experience of the pilot with the route. So I was talking to him about my Vegas experience, and he said, look, captains need to know exactly what's the weather and how much buffer and the fuel you take. And you come in with a checklist, and the AIs create a very well calculated list. But there's stuff that you know that when you come into JFK at this time of day or this day of the week, this is how
it's going to be that congested, and the traffic control has that issues, and
exactly.
It's a lot of experience. Like, I was at awe with it. It's amazing.
So understanding, so what happens with commercial flyers, they fly specific routes. So the pilot that flies from El Al, Tel Aviv to Boston does this every couple of weeks. So Chorev has seen this route. We know how many times he comes here, and he also lands at JFK like once every 2 days, every 3 days. So it means that he knows how JFK looks like. He knows how Logan looks like. The first time that he will fly to LA, for example, he'll take somebody else that knows the route. And that's a big difference, because a lot of times when you fly private, the pilot is basically your Uber driver. So he goes where you need to go. So and most of the airports, each one has their gotchas. So it's one of the things that you need to,
Yeah. So that was a wonderful experience. I really enjoyed it, and I have tons of respect to El Al. We had a full conversation about areas now that you need to expect GPS disruption, and apparently it's like half of the globe, because with, you know, Russia, Ukraine, the Houthis, some things in Africa, you know, the whole Middle East thing. Apparently, El Al pilots for now years are trained to fly without GPS and be able to figure it out. And they trained now a lot of other airlines of flying with that, because the Houthis, for example, they will disrupt, they will send, you know, the wrong thing, and that may cause an accident easily. Like that's what they're trying to do. So it's crazy. It's really crazy. Aviation is interesting space. Well, we've talked about that a little bit, and I was in Tel Aviv last week, and that's because...
Why were you in Tel Aviv?
I was in Tel Aviv because I started a new job again.
Yay.
So I'm a typical, I don't even know if we need claps and stuff. I'm a typical CMO. Lifespan in a company is anything in average between 12 to 24 months, I guess. And I'm my live experience of that. So my tenure at Beyond Identity ended a couple of weeks ago. And that was a good ride, and I enjoyed it, and I learned a ton, and identity is awesome, but I'm back in the world of the SOC again. So I joined a company called Inza. I'll tell you in a second a little bit more about it, but I want to kind of double down and also get your thoughts, Didi, about why the lifespan of a CMO is relatively short and how we can deal with it. I know that I have a ton of marketeers following the podcast, enjoying it. I think this is something that a lot of marketeers have seen. Trust in marketing is not always there, and it's hard to prove the worthiness of the function. And I think that we have huge responsibility to build it, but also we need to face the reality. So when I was looking for a job, somebody told me, why aren't you just doing fractional CMO, taking, this freelance gigs? And I said, well, the reality is, at least my reality so far, to be honest, is that I am like a fractional CMO just on the headcount of the company. I mean, in some cases, I come to solve a problem for a while, and then the company moves on. That's what happened at Beyond Identity. Like I came, I revived the team, I built it, and then the head of product marketing is good enough to lead it at that point, and that's okay. That's okay. So that's kind of like the reality. But what are your thoughts before I kind of jump in as an external viewer of that?
So I had... Yesterday when we had the barbecue, I was talking to Boris, an old acquaintance of mine, about the chief architect position. And what I told him is that I don't like to be in a position that you're overhead. I'm not saying that you don't get fired if you're in core engineering. A lot of the big companies right now, Microsoft had this massive cut. Intel had massive cuts.
Everyone had
massive cuts, and people cut through engineering. But I'd like to be in as close as possible to the money-making place. Mm-hmm. Not infrastructure, not architecture,
Are you
not
saying
CTO.
Marketing is not part of money-making place?
So when you build the product, when you're a manufacturing company,
mm-hmm.
when you cut in the live meat of the production arm, you're in a bad spot.
Right.
That's a company that you need to understand that you need to open your eyes and decide what you want to go next. But marketing is one of the easiest place to cut because it's really hard to understand its value to the company. I'm not saying, by the way, that these decisions are made correctly. Architecture is important. Infrastructure is important. CACD is important. A lot of these functions are important. But it's really hard to understand why they are important. Remember, I don't know if we're going to show these shows in order, but if we're going to talk about this in order, when we were talking about the GTM CEO and things like that, the GTM CEO is always sure that they know what they're doing if they come from sales or something like that, so they don't think that marketing is valuable. If they come from engineering is always sure that they know how to do marketing. No, they don't, but that's besides the point. Product marketing sometimes sits with product management, and then they don't do that. Also, when a company gets acquired, like if
marketing is the first function to go because the company already has a marketing motion, it needs to absorb it. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's really hard to find a place for a marketeer when you buy a company. Like when your company, Dig, was acquired by... It's really hard to find a place. So in acquisition, everybody acquires the company for the engineers. They don't acquire the company for the marketeers or the sales. When a company gets acquired, when a company needs to trim, when you trim engineering and something doesn't work, or you have escalations, everybody is going to basically micromanage you to the hilt of, oh, you fired 10% of the engineers and now we have a breach, an outage. Everybody's going to look at you like very hard of, do you actually know what you're doing?
Right.
When you cut marketing or you cut architecture, nobody knows how to measure that impact. Or if that big problem...
it's not going to be immediate, so, might be long-term pipeline reduction, but it's not immediate, so we'll see afterwards when things get better.
Yes.
It's not that I disagree. I actually really agree, and that's why I want to offer, actually, for marketeer, a framework to think about our role and what we do and how to think about it. I do think there is a reality that marketing is needed and is important.
Yep.
And, companies, especially early stage companies, cannot go to market without a specific story, trying to get a differentiated story, telling the world what pain they're there to solve and how they're going to solve it and why somebody should trust them. It's the department of showing the facade of trust. We look a certain way. We have a cohesive thing in the market. It's also the department to try different stories and see what sticks and not, of course, together with sales and so. We have a role to play, but the reality is that it's harder to prove our ROI, and it's also might be that our role evolves in different places through the time, and maybe we do need to accept the personal employment risk of this thing, especially when you are. It's also true in corporate, like it was that in corporate marketing you could be there forever. Even that is no longer true. They cut a lot, and obviously AI plays a role here, and they all kind of think how AI is going to help reduce marketing spend and headcount and so. My thought is we need to be extremely focused on what is the value and be transparent about what we could be doing and what's possible and what's not possible. I'll give you an example. I come in now as a new CMO to a company, and it's July. In a sales cycle, enterprise sales cycle, that takes 6 to 9 months, hopefully 6 months. Pipeline for end of year has to be already set. My ability, even if I'm the best CMO doing the best marketing ever on the planet, my ability to have big impact on the closing number of 2025 are marginal because it's already done. Most of the things that will close by end of year are conversations we're having nowadays, are customers that raised their hand in the last 2 months, and maybe will be coming in the following few weeks. That's it. That's the reality of the market. So first and foremost, our job is when we come in and where we are in a company is being realistic. What can be done and what cannot be done. I think a lot of marketing leaders are afraid to speak up and say the truth. And by being transparent, why are you bringing me? Are you bringing me to solve an immediate problem? Because I can tell you, for marketing, it's almost impossible to solve an immediate problem. We are a little bit of a longer tail function. We build brand, we build awareness, we go into event and meet with people, we create those events, and in those events, only very few have a project right now. We create this awareness in the mind of everyone over there that when they have a project, they will pick up the phone and talk to us, raise their hand and put a Calendly link. So I think first and foremost, part of our job is clarity about what we could impact and what we cannot. And if it's not what the organization wants and needs, maybe we shouldn't get there. Because I think a lot of the cycle is about mismanaging of expectations. So that's one thing I want to say. Very important, very hard, because most people kind of like want a silver bullet, we'll bring marketing to solve the pipeline issue. It takes time.
But I'll argue with you a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
Even though I don't know shit what I'm talking about. Truly I have. But, it never stops me.
Right.
When we brought in Mike Marriott into our company, he had two very immediate impacts.
Okay.
Especially considering what we had in the past. And by the way, Matt is a very good storyteller, and I love Matt's ability to tell a story. But Mike really changed the way we told our story, and it did help close deals.
Absolutely.
Because one of the things that it really helped, one of the things that would help us a lot with the renewals, which is also an important element, was as soon as we started getting Gartner traction, as soon as we started showing up on Gartner, and Mike got us on Gartner and some of the stuff like.
I don't know how Mike got you fast into Gartner. It's not typical to get fast reaction from Gartner. So
Gartner loved our story to begin with.
Yeah, you already been talking to Gartner.
We were talking to
because Gartner is not. Nobody will say we are getting on a Gartner report with a few weeks after we have a new marketeer. It cannot happen.
It cannot happen.
That cannot be attributed to him. Maybe he refined it. Maybe it was the right time. He kind of closed the pitch. That's awesome.
He helped close some of the stuff in his ability to PMM, especially that pie that Enrique shares a lot.
I 100% agree. Especially good PMMs can impact current pipe by helping better address competition, like basically telling sales engineering how to better kind of set traps to competition, showcase our strength. So that's definitely can impact closing
and
rate.
Show wins. This was the most important.
And show wins. Yes, that's a very big point. The biggest fastest thing to actually make a dent in, if you are a marketer coming in, is taking current customer base and see how fast you can put up ads with customer testimonials, how fast you can get customers to speak with in your upcoming events. That's the lowest hanging fruit that can actually make a difference. And yes, that's definitely it. My recommendation is when you come in, and if you talk about 30, 60, 90 days, doing something with customers, activating customers is probably, and it's not easy. Not easy to get customers on a video, not easy to get customers to talk in your event or whatever. But if you get it, that is probably the biggest impact you're going to go and do, because you know what? Customer telling stories is actually the thing that impacts most other people to check you out and be more ready to buy you. So absolutely, 100% agree. So yes, there are actions that can drive, but they cannot be like a force multiplier immediately of we need $10 million additional in pipe in the next 3 months.
Yes,
not going to happen.
That
takes time.
Pipeline. That's why I was saying that the only thing that can help is, I believe, is with that aspect of customer testimonial and Gartner notations or G2 or things like that. A lot of times the customer, to close a deal with the startup, they need a CYA piece of paper. CYA, cover your ass. If basically you have, if you are Southwest and you can say that, hey, Delta and United are already a customer, it's a CYA. The first one of them to buy, that's the risky one. But if you have Delta and United in your pipeline, using their testimonial to close Southwest.
100%. And that's also a way for you marketing to think if you want to slice and dice or focus on a specific subset of the market, ideal customer profile. Like ICP is huge, usually. Like any company with more than 1,000 employees, go target them. Yeah, that takes time and, it's costly. But you know what? If, as Didi said, if United and Delta are a customer, go and check Aviation ISEC, do a webinar with them, mention those two names, and get into, talking with JetBlue and Southwest. That's actually a thing I'm thinking about, the industry play.
Yeah.
Because you come to a company and everybody tells you, oh, you sell software to the SOC. Everybody has a SOC. SOC is the same. But no, the SOC of Salesforce is kind of unique to, or at least they think is unique to the need of, big software building company. And I can use a testimonial of a company like that to go and sell to, I don't know, Datadog and Snowflake and the like that have like this mix of build and buy in the orgs.
So for people that think that if you have a SOC, you can sell to the SOC, I can tell you that that's basically BS. Because, for example, Salt Typhoon, the biggest threat right now out there in the market.
Let's drop just a little bit, like, what is it for those that are not aware?
So basically what happens...
Chinese actors, probably CCP, kind of...
threat actor that loves attacking infrastructure, old infrastructure.
They're basically kind of going to go and put some,
they'll use
0 days.
They use stolen credentials. So Salt Typhoon and Scattered Spider basically go off after stolen credentials. They have a standard play. They do a password stuffing attack.
Yeah.
Followed by calling IT and getting reset the MFA.
Right.
And they go with password stuffing followed by targeting the help desk, then going after your old infrastructure. They go
installing malware over there? What they do?
They go traverse on the ancient infrastructure
is it like for like having stealth presence over there for the day of...
They usually...
for destruction.
It depends on what their goal is at that point in time. Sometimes it's profitability, sometimes it's installing legacy backdoor or something. But the main thing about it is the fact that
it's persistent into your network for whatever they want to do afterwards.
The thing that's important is it's persistent towards your network, which means that they will go after people that have Palo, Cisco, Arista. The more checkpoint, the more legacy on-prem gear you have. So, for example, HubSpot will not see them because they're AWS, they have nothing on-prem. A Snowflake will never see them. But if you're an old gas company, an airline, a bank...
Healthcare
is their favorite because it's old legacy, no SOC, nobody knows how to deal with this. So they love to attack a vertical based on the vertical profile. And the vertical needs to have SOC plays that deal with their attacks. So this is one example. The other part, for example, oil and gas have a set of executive orders that tell them exactly what they're supposed to do.
Right.
Finance has...
Each one have their own regulation, compliance.
Exactly. You need to be able to adhere. So, for example, we built a whole bunch of stuff to deal with the energy companies' executive orders about self-attestation and things like that. You have to build into that automated SOC to say, hey, I comply with this, I comply with this, I comply with this, I comply with this. Not knowing even the language of what is the burden of proof that is required by industry is a very novice thing. And by the way, this is also when we talk about the value of PMM, is understanding exactly that, of how you message to their pains of the industry intersection.
Yeah, 100%. So with that, I mean, those are the things I'm thinking about, and trying to prove value fast, building a team fast. I joined this company that have been around for a while. And
by the way, I want us to have a dedicated episode because we're running low on time. A dedicated episode a little bit. You can get intro what the company does, but I want a dedicated episode about the automated SOC.
Yes, and maybe, you know what? Let's bring in, a few folks from my new company.
Please do, because right now one of the interesting things that I'm seeing for my stuff is that if before sending notifications and more data was a problem, the automated SOC has changed the inbound data volume, especially with good AIs, significantly. So this requires a dedicated episode.
So we'll talk about SOC automation, Gen AI, agents for the SOC and how it's changing, and not necessarily replacing people, but changing the entire kind of world of the SOC and the way you can actually manage stuff. So it is exciting, and that's why I joined Inza. Quickly about Inza, and we'll bring some people from the company because I think it's an excellent company. Really, I'm excited to join. It's a company that started almost 10 years ago, so it's not a young startup, and that's something I actually appreciate. It has its ups and downs, and they're really, really understanding this market of the SOC. So 2 co-founders coming from the IDF SOC. So that's what they did day in, day out in the long military service. So they understand level 1, level 2, level 3, all this kind of like the way things are being handled the huge organization of the IDF as kind of like security operation war room. And coming with an insight, they started the company with this vision of solving every roadblock that at the time the SOC had. Their thought is, we're going to automate those areas that are bottlenecks, especially for the more the L2 and the L3, the more professional, because they have a lot of manual work that is very time consuming. You need to have a lot of professional understanding in different areas, like reverse engineering of malware, runtime of the malware, being able to do a lot of threat hunting, those kind of things. So their thought is, we're going to develop tools for the practitioners, the analysts, to build. They did tremendous with that. They had a malware analysis tool, reverse engineering, sandboxing, a lot of those things. Got amazing traction, had a community, had free tools where you can, get 3 malware analyzed for free, and then you buy. And had the best logos in the world, really. Big banks, governments use those tools. But if you can imagine it, very few analysts have really a budget to buy tools. Very few CISOs care about the day-to-day of, the analyst. And they basically hit, as a startup growth, they hit this roadblock of, that we have those great logos, but they buy our software for $10,000 for 2 people to use it, and they use it 3 times a year. So with that, and that's something I really appreciate, this aha moment of, this is not good enough for us as a growth mechanism. We can stay as a niche product player and do that, and it will be nice, but it is a niche. And they started kind of like, they did close most of the GTM at the time, preserve cash, do the whole thing, do the right thing, and go back into rebuild mode. And when they did, they kind of like, they still kept this vision of removing all these bottlenecks in the SOC, but started thinking, okay, we already have visibility into your CrowdStrike and many times your SIM. We already understand, because we work really closely with analysts in the SOC, we understand the interaction between the escalation levels, how they triage, how they investigate. We see a lot of what they do, even if we didn't do it for them. And then AI came in, and it all kind of came to life with this. We can actually take all the knowledge that we have and now really remove a lot of the bottlenecks as a platform across the SOC from L1 to L2 to L3 with some of the capabilities we still have as legacy. So the company came back, rebuilt itself as a complete SOC automation platform sitting on top of everything you have at the SOC. And if you think about it, basically helping companies remove what they're now doing with an MDR, because MDR is now the kind of like, they're going to deal with the noise, they're going to deal with the all the things I cannot handle in-house. We can augment them, or we can completely rip and replace what they're doing. So we have been working in the past year and a half with this SOC automation platform with a few of the biggest and the best SOCs in the world. We're going to be in Black Hat a week from now, and we have a special event with a few
So I have a week
of
off?
our customers. Yeah, you have a week off. I'm going to be in Vegas.
Yes. Meet my brother.
Yeah, we have great customers like MGM and Wyndham Hotels and Ferguson and you know, really big companies that enjoy our product. And I'm so proud to be in a market that is extremely noisy. Everybody is doing AI and automation, and it's the big guys and the small guys and the SIM and the SOA and the everyone. So, oh my God, I have so much work to do to kind of like help differentiate and help customer understand where we fit in and how we're different. No, SOA will not solve this. They don't do investigation. You need to know what's happening to be able to create playbooks. No, SIM don't do it. They're basically at the
SIM
data
does
layer.
everything. SIM pays our rent. Be nice.
Well, I hope they buy us.
Splunk pays our rent. Be nice.
I'm very nice. Splunk is needed. Extremely helpful. Buy us.
Yes. Cool.
We can collaborate together. Looking forward, we have a big announcement coming up, some partnership with Microsoft that I'm really excited to launch. So it's all coming up really nicely.
Take a
I'm
breath.
hiring, so join my team and ready for a new run. That's
Yes.
what it is. Let's
Cool.
go.
Dave says don't tap the table.
Right. Okay. Well, with that was a long one. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, I hope so too. Dave, do you mind if we finish with Wave of Mutilation on the way out? Can we do that?
Is it a Pixies song?
Of course, it's a Pixie song.
Okay.
It even pixied out with your favorite actor. You know who Lital's favorite actor is?
Ed Norton.
I thought it was what's his name, Christian Slater.
Oh, yes, Christian Slater, of course. It's like the two of them.
Yes.
They're very different.
She likes she likes wusses. That's how
Christian Slater is not a wuss.
She loves the wusses.
Oh my God, I'm in love with him ever since he was Name of Rose. How is it called?
The Name of the Rose. Yes.
Name of the Rose.
And pump up the volume because we are a podcast.
That's the one I was going to say. He was the original podcaster.
Yes, he was.
Yes, he was. Loved it, and I love him. And Robin Hood.
Yes. Pump up the.
Okay.
So let's surf out.
Let's surf out. The Didi and Lital show is a weekly podcast. Please rate and review us wherever you get your podcast. Share with friends. We hope you liked it. We'll see you next week. Bye bye. Ciao.
Bye.